Welcome to this season wrap-up edition of Tornado Watch here with King Women's Soccer coach Simon Duffy. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
Good, thank you.
Season went pretty well. You made the conference tournament for the third straight year. Had to win that last game to get in. Can you talk about what has that meant to the program, making that type of consistency to be in postseason play every year for the last 3 years since coming into Conference Carolinas?
Yeah, we're very fortunate, that's for sure. I think North Greenville joined the same year we joined, and they didn't make it their first year. So again, just very fortunate and blessed to be able to make postseason all 3 years, and it meant even more the way we finished the season as far as beating Mount Olive at home to put our foot in the door. There was no second guessing if we made it that day. It was a great team performance. Albeit we'd have to do it the difficult way and go in as the number 8 seed, and everyone's calling it an upset and a shock and everything else, but we talked to the team afterwards and it's not a shock. We did well, we deserved it, and to beat a team like Lees McRae was just extra benefit from us. Like you said, it's excellent for our program going forward. Unfortunately, we couldn't go any further. We met a fantastic Fifer team who were as good as they were when we played them during the season. They were just kind of superior than us on the day, and they went on to win it on PKs, beat Belmont Abbey. So, tip of the hat to them, to both teams, Belmont Abbey and Fifer, for making the final. So, but for us, making it that far was good. And I look back on the season, though, there was too many games that were left. We walked away from thinking we should have gotten more from them. But other than that, good season all in.
Yeah, we'll talk about that Lees McRae game in the conference tournament. First ever Conference Carolinas tournament win. Kind of a good way, kind of a building block for next year, and it also probably helps in recruiting that, hey, we can take this step, especially 8 over a 1.
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 players that we're looking at that are yet to commit for next year, and I honestly think they're looking at that kind of thing to see where we end up and to see how we do. And so for us to win at Lees McRae, I've never walked off Banner Elk Field without a win, and it just felt good. But again, it was a catalyst, hopefully a catalyst for us to go forward in the tournament. But we just fell a bit short. But it was a massive win, and I don't think anybody saw us going through for that game. But we had a game plan, and in fairness to the girls, they executed perfectly. They did a superb job. So really happy.
A little motivation for next year to get back there and probably hopefully improve upon that.
We've set the bar there now, so yeah, that's it.
Talk about all-conference players and all tournament. Two all-conference players. We'll start offensively with Rachel Slorp, who was amazing offensively this year. 12 goals, second in the league, and in the top 40 in Division 2 here. Talk about her impact offensively and what it was like to watch her this year.
Especially coming off of last year, Rachel needed to have a standout year, and she did, and we challenged her, and we worked a lot in the spring, and she came out all guns firing this year. Had a slow start, but definitely came good, and we worked on a lot of things with the forwards during practice this season, before training, after training. So you could tell that going off of last year, I think we had 9 goals total last year, which is shocking. So we had, I think, 28, 29 goals this year. So that in itself is excellent. Rachel, despite finishing in 8th place, we had a first team all conference player. That doesn't happen very often. So I'm sure there's other teams out there that feel a bit, don't feel well about it or feel good about it, but I'm delighted for her. She deserved it. And Becca Ramstack, second team all conference. And again, just a solid player for us in the back. Was a leader on the field. So I thought 2 players that definitely deserved what they got.
Yeah, and then moving to the defensive side, you mentioned Ramstack, who was second team all conference, a senior who will be missed, who has been a mainstay in the defensive backfield here for the last 2 years. And then Katie Keys had an incredible tournament run, the 2 games in the tournament. How about their performances defensively? Yeah,
starting off the season, we gave away so many soft goals. There wasn't a lot of worldly goals or great goals that beat us, and it was our own fault, really. And we kind of changed the things around back there, and as soon as we moved Katie Keys and Becca together, it was, I thought, so much more solid. Players kind of adjusted around them too, but they were the 2 mainstays in the back for us. And Katie Keys had a massive tournament. The 2 games she was just really flawless. Her drive and just everything about her game, her intensity. if we had other players that had matched that during that Fifer game, I thought that the result would have been different, you know. So she was excellent back there. She really was. We're just delighted to have her back for another year. But hopefully, with Becca being gone now next year, you know, Katie can step into that role and being a leader on the field for us, and just continue to be solid back there. So.
Yeah, those three were kind of, you know, looking for them at the beginning of the year. Were there any players that kind of caught your eye this season that was like, oh, kind of surprised you that you weren't really expecting this
year? I mean, it was one or two, but one in particular was Keely Easterling. She's so athletic, and Keely is a local player here, second-year player for us. And, you know, she's so athletic and very coachable, willing to learn, and got a great attitude. And it showed on the field. She played up front, she played in the back for us. And you know, she scored a couple of important goals. One that comes to mind is at Belmont Abbey when we tied on the road 1-1. Scored a great goal, but when we needed her in the back, she was there as well. So she was just such a versatile player for us, and really caught the eye. And a lot of coaches in the league were asking about her. So I'm really happy with her. And again, we have 2 more years with Keely, and she's come on leaps and bounds since she joined us 2 years ago, so it's going to be exciting to see, especially in the spring and further here on out, to see how well she does for us.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the spring and then to next year. What are some of the things that you need to work on that the team needs to get better at, and then who are some players that you're looking for next year to take that next step, maybe like Keely did this year, and kind of prove himself on the pitch?
Well, we just talked about it, soft goals, giving away simple goals. You know, it makes it so much harder when you help the other team score. You know, you want to make it difficult, and last year we were almost last in the conference with goals scored, but top 2 in goals conceded. Mm-hmm. So this year it kind of flip-flopped. We jumped up in goals scored, but then gave away a lot more goals. So that's something that we need to address defensively. But you know, we had a player this year, a freshman who came in, Catherine Walsh, who didn't get to play. She got injured right before season, so we're excited to see her play. Hopefully she'll get to play somewhat in the spring and get released from her knee injury. And again, some of the players that came through, freshman players, I think are going to be very big for us in the next couple of years. So just some players in the midfield, like Shally and Paula, and hopefully up front the likes of Catherine Walsh and Rachel can continue doing what they're doing. But you know, Raina had a great year for us this year, coming off I think maybe 1 goal last year, stepped in with 5 really important goals. I mean, and took them fantastically well. So we're excited about what we have, and even in the back now, Tara, another freshman coming in, hopefully she can kind of fill that void where Becca left off in this spring. So we've a lot of work to do in the spring, but I'm eager to get going, even though we've just finished. We're not allowed to do anything for 2 weeks, so it's an unusual void in your day, you know, around 3 o'clock. So the players are already out working out on their own and running, which is great to see. So yeah, we're just excited about the spring and what we have to come. So.
All right, thank you, Coach, and good luck in the off season here, and we'll see you this spring, and if not, this fall.
Okay.